So he walks on the water, and now he's like, okay, guys, and he's out walking on the water in the middle of the storm. Okay? Now you would think, wouldn't you think by now the disciples know who he is? I mean, wouldn't you think that we know him, we've camped out with him, we've kind of fed, I've asked him for food, and we've walked to Galilee and Capernaum, we've walked the land, I've seen him touch people, I've helped move people aside here, I've ushered and I've greeted, I've done everything in his meetings. And we look in verse 26, when the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified with fear and said, it's a ghost. I mean, Jesus is like, coming to help you. It's a ghost. What do you mean it's a ghost? It's me. It's me. I just saw you just back not long ago. Don't you remember me? Jesus didn't come out with a Halloween mask. It was him. But fear causes you to look at something of the way it should be. You look at it as something that's different. Fear blurs your vision. Fear alters your faith. Fear messes you up. They say it's a ghost. And it's the story that we preach where, go ahead, and Jesus spoke to them and once said, don't be afraid, take courage, I'm here. Then Peter called out to him, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to walk on the water. So, okay, Peter, come on, walk on the water. So Peter then steps over the boat. We talk about him stepping over in faith. It's a whole sermon. This is within one day in the life of Christ, one day. He steps over the side of the boat, and then Peter's now walking on the water. He's doing this, and what happens, of course, then we preach it. He saw the strong waves and the wind, and he was terrified and began to sink. And because when you take your eyes off of Jesus, you'll begin to sink into the filth of the world. So if you keep your eyes on him, you'll never fall. And we preach this. We preach that. He was terrified. He begins to sink, and Jesus is like, oh, gee, okay. Save me, Lord, save me, I'm drowning. Jesus immediately had to reach down and grabbed him. Come on, Peter, get some faith, man. Why do you doubt? Why do you doubt me? All right. So they climb back in the boat, and the wind stops. Well, okay, it should be over. He's in the boat. The storm stops. Now, we look at the rest of this, just the one chapter. Then the disciples worship him. You're really God now. Like, wasn't I God before? So what happens? They get to the other side. They cross the lake, the land of Gennesaret. And when the people recognized him, you think he could have gotten a hotel room? Nope. The news spread quickly throughout the area. And as soon people were bringing all their sick. He is constant. You see what he's doing? He has a need. He's pushing it aside and he's planting seeds of healing, help. He is so tired physically at this point. At this meeting, he doesn't lay hands on anybody. What his disciples are doing, they're actually carrying him through the crowd in a sense. They're holding him up. You'll see what happens. They begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe. He didn't touch anybody. They touched him. He just walked through. You know what this kind of tells us too is that this thing of, don't you think Jesus was kind of inconvenienced? Maybe this Christian life, should we all realize that maybe as believers we're going to be inconvenienced? It's not going to go our way all the time. Have you gotten to that conclusion? Do you realize that you're going to be interrupted? Do you realize that, what you have is your day planned, but God's going to interrupt your day because somebody else needs a seed that you can plant into them? Do you realize things that you go through in life, the reason you go through them because God's going to show you somebody that's also going through them and you can help them? Do you realize that you're going to be inconvenienced in your life as a Christian? You're going to have to alter some things to be able to be what God wants you to be and to have his mind. Because see, where there's a need, you've got to sow a seed. How many of you get upset when somebody cuts in front of you? Yeah, we at the grocery store. I was at the grocery the other day. How many of you get mad when somebody you count how many items they have in there in a 10-item line? You got 15 in that buggy. That line's over there. You don't say it, but you think it, don't you? Because what? They're wasting your precious time. Or somebody cuts in front of you, and you standing there like this, and somebody comes in front of you, and you try to get eye contact with somebody to kind of verify that they're nut. You kind of like, you did, huh? You did see? Yeah, okay then. There. You don't say anything, but just it's amazing the little things that inconvenience us. And what I'm telling you today, your Christian walk is going to be inconvenienced because there's a seed in you that you need to plant into somebody else. And that means you're going to have needs yourself, but you got to bypass your need to plant that seed.